Kat life coaches people around the world, keeping them moving towards their dreams every single day. She has a law of attraction power with Kat Sansone group on Facebook with nearly 122,000 people, helping people connect and be empowered, learning the tools to create their own reality. She also sang on Star Search and performed for most of her life. She now teaches and trains up-and-coming artists to be amazing singers, artists, and performers. Kat, you ready to rock this?
Rock and roll.
She's ready. You're such a superstar, a rock star, superstar, just like bigger than life. I love it.
And so are you. So are you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to have a lot of fun today. I can feel it. You got great energy. You're all about the vibe, all about the law of attraction. And before we start diving into your journey, let's dive into the question of the day, which is the theme is rising from the ashes. So we have a phoenix all around us, right?
I like it.
How do you, Catherine, rise from the ashes? How do you relate to that? How does that show up with your clients when you're teaching them to, really harness their artistic abilities and gifts? How does this concept and the principle of rising from the ashes, being like the phoenix, no matter what happens, being able to come back, how does that show up for you?
It shows up for me in the form of a boot camp. I always say when things are really rough, I go in kind of like a cocoon. I go in and I like grit down like boot camp. Like I'm going to disappear for a minute from the world and I'm going to just get back to my gut and my basics, and I'm going to work out and I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to meditate and pray and visualize and go back and pick up an old book that's right on that just to get my oomph back so that, and then I reemerge and look at the world with fresh new eyes, because I obviously got off track. If I'm in a bad place, something went wrong somewhere, so I need to get back to that center. So that's what I do.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. The boot camp principle is like, okay, back to basics. Things have been going out of control, spiraling, challenging, whatever it might be. It's like, what is the fundamentals? Let's hit it hard. Let's get back into emotional stability and mastery and awareness, and then take life by the horns and say, let's create. Right?
Right. Don't worry about what other people are doing or how it's being perceived. That's why I like the idea of boot camp, because they have to go away in military. They go away and away from everyone, and they come out this beast and they go in wobbling and nervous and probably scared and crying. And then they come out like, so yeah.
I love it. I love it. This is so much fun. So that's a great way to start this interview. Boot camp, baby. Oh yeah. Hoorah. So let's keep going. And Kat, why don't you share with our audience what you are up to today, what you're creating, and how you're sharing your gifts with the world?
Well, as you know, and you stated that I'm a life coach. So I'm one-on-one life coach with people around the world, which is super exciting because I have people in Ireland and in the UK, and I've even done a little bit in Saudi Arabia. And so it's been exciting to touch people that way, as well as I teach voice lessons and performance to artists here in St. Louis, Missouri. So I love doing that. And now I'm working towards my own course and a book, and so I can reach more people.
Yes.
And also I have that law of attraction page that I've had, I think 5 years, something like that. And I love, when I started that, it was like nobody was really going there. After the movie The Secret, it was like there was no one, at least here in St. Louis, that I knew of that was talking that talk. And so I thought, I need to create a space where people can talk and we can grow and learn from each other and get better and better at this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. So you saw a need, and then you filled the space, and you took responsibility for that. I love that. And this group, 122,000 people. That's incredible. That's a huge achievement. And thank you for gathering people to a common cause and a common vision, and having them, tune in to their greatness on a daily basis, a community, somewhere where they can go, where people get them. Thank you for creating that.
Yes. My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm glad to do it. I'm thrilled to do it.
Awesome. So, Catherine, we're going to go back a little bit into your journey. And you're going to share what were some of those principles, lessons, wisdom that you picked up along the way that really had you define who you are, your character, what you stand for in the world. Why don't you share some of those challenging moments with us, the highs, the lows, and just catch us up on what that journey was like.
Well, I think it starts as a little girl with my dad. My dad was this big thinker, and he used to go to he took me to ESP conventions, which is extrasensory perception, which was very unheard of in that day, very small people. So he kind of taught me he taught me about hypnosis in the sense that it exists and that you can affect the mind more than just what we're seeing. So I think he kind of planted that seed, and then Napoleon Hill. And I was always that girl who was an underdog taker. I always wanted to fix people, always had that thing, as well as I was the singer, performer. So throughout my life, I was always helping, fixing people. I wasn't good about myself. I couldn't turn it on me, but I could help other people. So I made quite a mess of myself for my own personal life at times, but I learned through the years. And then I got a book when I was 27 years old. I got a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. That's when I went, wait, what? Like I could, and at the time I was having this pain in my stomach that was really bad. And I'd gone to the doctor, and they said, well, we're going to have this outpatient surgery for you on Thursday. And I received that book on Monday in my acting class. This gentleman gave me this book, and I read it within a couple days. And on Wednesday night, the night before this outpatient surgery, I did what it said. There's this section where you close your eyes and you see every cell and nerve and tissue of your body healed and healthy and feeling good. So I did that. And I woke up in the morning, and it was the first morning in months that I didn't have the pain. So I called and canceled, and I've never had, it was a gastritis. They had said I had gastritis, whatever. It was gone. Wow. And I never had it again. But continuing on that journey, what I realized that, I can change things. But what I didn't understand is that you have to be on it all the time. So you can undo your good if you lose if you're negative. So I would get my manifestations. I would set goals. I want to be a millionaire. That took like 14 years to get. Or I want to be, I want to sing for millions of people. So I got on Star Search, but I didn't imagine winning on Star Search. So I didn't know how to go all the way with stuff. And so I would undo, or I wanted my dream home, and I got it years later, but my marriage was falling apart. So I didn't know how to take all of that good and just speak that into my life and be that girl all the time. So it took me a lot of years till I finally realized, I can't undo this. I can't do this, undo this, do this, undo this. I have to stay on it if I really want to keep this good in my life, get it and keep it. Because I would lose things. I'd get it and then I'd lose it because I gossip or whatever was happening, get mad and angry and fight or whatever. So I learned later, after about when I turned like 52, I'm 57 now, but when I was 52 is when I started to work with someone once a week, and I realized, I got to stay on this. I got to stay on this.
For life.
I have to feed myself. I have to read constantly. I have to work with people for myself. And I realized it's not enough for me to just help everybody. And I love that. And I'm really good at that for other people, but I need someone who can feed me and
Yeah.
and be on it for me, because I put a plaque up on my wall saying, practice what you teach, because sometimes I'm such a teacher that I'll like just be exhausted later and I won't do my own work. Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what brought me to now, where I've learned that the biggest lessons is that you have to stay on this stuff and you have to stay on it and have support system of your own, even if you're a teacher or a speaker or whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So you were not seeing the results consistently, and you're like, well, maybe I'll get back on this stuff. You got back on it, you start producing more results, and then you get off it, negativity, whatever gets in the way. And you just finally said, oh my gosh, like this is something I need to keep doing consistently. And so you became that example for yourself and the role model for yourself. You got, I think there's the analogy, you always have one hand up and one hand down, right? Like you got a mentor or coach or someone who's helping you up, who's like lifting you up. And then you got another hand that's always constantly helping other people down and helping them come up with you.
Right. Yeah. Because I could be a person who could just give and give and give and be about them and their world and then I'm falling apart, not making the correct decisions. And also I would get stuff and then lose things. So I wouldn't just get it and then, lose momentum. I would like literally. And the biggest thing I have learned in this whole thing is that it is not easy, like everyone likes to say. It's simple, but it is not easy. And there are some people, hey, it's easy for some people. There are some people, they were raised with it more or easier. But if you were raised with your default buttons being like, there's just, however, most people were raised with some kind of negativity, right? So then when you say
scarcity.
Correct. So like if you talk to somebody who's, let's say, 600 pounds and you say to them, how do you lose weight? They'll tell you. It's not some secret.
Right.
They know the hard part is actually doing it. And what stops them from doing the things that they want to do for themselves is that default button, that story in their head. So I take it from that approach with people. I don't assume that, hey, you're just supposed to be positive, get it together and, start visualizing and meditating. And, I take it like, get ready. This is a job. You need to be committed to this. You need to be all in. This is not easy for most of us. Don't beat yourself up. Just get up and try it again tomorrow. And if I can just move you a little bit each time, that's 365 times in a year. Yeah. So then they look back, and I love my clients that I've had for years. We look back and we look at how much money they've made every year, and we look at the progress they've made, and it's just so cool. But it really does depend on that default button and that story, those stories, landmark, that stuff that you're programmed with, very hard to break. That stuff, woo, and plus you've got cultural programming. It's crazy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I love that we're diving into this. What are you finding most people are dealing with these stories, and how can we start freeing ourselves up, and especially people who are listening right now? What's the hope? What like, not hope, but like, what's the light at the end of the tunnel? What can they do about that starting right now?
Yes. That is such a great question. So number one is question everything. Number two, be curious about everything. You have to break the cultural things that we've been taught, our family. And you have to realize a lot of people want, and this with Landmark, a lot of people want to blame their parents, right? And you have to, so one of the first things I have people delve into that start with that is, let's go back. Let's talk about your mom and dad as little children. And let's talk about what they had to deal with. But not just that, let's go back to the landowners of our country. Let's go back to how the system was set up so that you realize that you've been kind of been put in a place, I hate to say the word matrix, but it's been a structure. Everything's been, an infrastructure's been set up for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so in order to break that, thank God we have the internet, so we can ask questions, and in real time, your generation, your age, you guys can say, oh, in Syria, they're what? Like, and you can start to, well, wait a minute. And so when somebody tells you something, ask yourself, even I tell this to all my clients, like, ask yourself, how does that feel for me? Even when I tell them something, like, fit it into your world. Like, this is my experience. This is what I want you to know. But like, how does that feel for you? And then put it in the right place at the right time. And I feel that everybody's got the same things. Everybody struggles with either weight or eating healthy or that negative talk. Either someone was molested or raped, or somebody was browbeaten, or insecurities were rained down on them, depending on where they were. If the parents expected the oldest to be good, they might have told the youngest certain different stories. So there's all that structure. You might have been told you were ugly, or who knows. So I usually take people from wherever they're at and say, okay, let's clean all that up, and then let's just state, where do you want to go? Let's get there. And as they're getting there, these things pop up. And I'm like, okay, let's put that fire out. Let's put that.
Should I send your message?
Wait. No, I didn't realize I had my phone on, and I think it was like doing like a recording thing. It's kind of funny. That's funny. So what was I saying?
So things come up.
Right, things come up, and you put the fires out as they go. I love to heal people's soul, and I like to work with people who, are committed to it, because it's hard, and I get it. I don't even blame people who don't want to, but I so enjoy people that are committed to the full process, where they're like, I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to just keep going, and watching their belief get stronger and stronger. It's cool.
Yeah. It's seeing that. It's kind of like a seed, right? You plant a seed of greatness within people. It's one of the things I love doing the most, is holding a vision of them as bigger and stronger and more capable than they even know themselves to be, or, holding it for them when they lose sight of it, being that vision keeper. We keep people's vision of their greatness for them, and just keep reminding them that this is what's on the other side. Keep going, keep taking those steps.
Yes. Do you know who Neville Goddard is?
Yes. Asking is given, right?
Well, Neville Goddard, where he's just the pruning shears of revision, he has been the biggest change in my life has come from Neville. It's amazing what I've learned from Neville Goddard, which is you hold people, you literally can affect other people, which I didn't understand that for years. But like what you said, if somebody says, oh, I'm sick, before I even hang up that phone, I am envisioning them healthy and strong. I'm giving them that, and that actually affects them. I've done that for people on so many, not just with that, but just in happiness or different things. And I do it with all my clients and students. I imagine them stars or successful or just whatever it is they want. I see that, and that's an actual powerful thing. And then using the revision. So yes, holding that vision for them is key.
Yeah, it's actually Neville Goddard is At Your Command, I think, and then Esther Hicks is Asking It Is Given. I think those are two books that people can look up.
He's written a lot of books. So there's like a website, there's like freeneville.com, and there's all these different Neville. I mean, he's got a lot of lectures. I mean, the guy's amazing. He's brilliant and different. And he and Dr. Joseph Murphy were buddies. And Dr. Joseph Murphy is the guy who wrote The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, which was the book who changed my life originally. But then when I got into Neville much later, and it's harder for people to understand because he uses scripture, but not in the way you would think. Everybody doesn't quite understand that he's not saying what you think he's saying, but it's really, really cool. So I love, it takes a while. It takes me a couple years to get my clients into Neville because it's a deeper dive, but he's got a lot of books. The Pruning Shears of Revision. Have you read that one?
I haven't.
So you don't know about revision? Okay, yeah, revision's crazy. So revision is where you imagine. So if you have a bad day, let's say you have a good day, or you're going about your day and something bad happens. And at night before you go to sleep, you go back to that event and you revise it. You see it the way you would have liked it to go. And get into that feeling of it so that you clean up that bad energy and that bad thinking so that the next day you don't bring it into your experience. You know how people just get mad and they go to sleep and they're still thinking about it and they're taking a shower and they're still thinking about it. And they're carrying that on, and that just grows and grows, right? So you need to clean up all. And he doesn't just say it on that day. You revise throughout your days. You do your, if you had a bad childhood experience, go back, revise it, see it the way you would have liked it to go. If you got divorced, see it the way you would have liked to go. Clean it up, even though you're not going to necessarily change that event. You're changing the course of your future by the way you're getting rid of it. You've seen people that they carry that stuff and they get cancer or they, whatever. They keep having they have the same relationship. They're on their 10th, relationship. Why? Because they're not cleaning it up before they move on to the next.
Wow.
Right?
I love this. The pruning shears of revision. So revising things, going back, healing that, changing it to what we would have wanted it to be. And that really creates space in our future because we're not still dragging this past in the past, into our future, putting it into our possibilities in the future. So I love that. And in terms of affirmations and declarations and speaking into existence, how has that shown up for you and with your clients, and how have you really used the power of affirmations, declarations, incantations? Is that something you subscribe to? Do you more like journaling or reading or visualizing? What's your favorite techniques to imprint the subconscious mind?
So what I found is those are all tools. Those are all great tools. And so you can use those tools, but those tools are not the manifestors. That's not what brings your manifestation. Your manifestation comes from you just wasting time with yourself, closing your eyes and getting into that space, seeing what you want for yourself and feeling it. And so you can make vision boards all day and you can journal all day. And some people are really good at writing and you can, affirm all you want. But the question is, are you feeling it? So pick whatever tools you like. I've done them all. I mean, I've done a lot of them. I shouldn't say all. I don't know everything that's out there, but I've done different things. But I find that sometimes people become wrapped up in that and they don't ever get it here. So people will say, I read this book and I read that and I write this and that, but I'm not manifesting. Yeah, because you got to go in here. It's here. Like you don't need all that. Like truly, if you were dropped on an island, all you need is that gut feeling. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone that you loved and it ended and you just feel it? Like it's painful. Like you feel it in your gut and your heart and your soul. That's powerful stuff. And then have you ever thought about somebody and you're just like, and they call you or they text you? It's because you're so connected. And that's what you want to get with the money that you want, the success that you want, the career that you want, whatever it is you're wanting in your world. You got to feel it like that. So cool. If you want to have fun and do a vision board, you want to journal, you want to write, you want to do all those things, but those are external things. They're over there. And if like Joel Osteen talks about putting stuff out to remind you, like I'll have some things out there and it's good little reminders. I like to listen to affirmations every night before I go to bed. They just play over and over again in my ear as I go to sleep. And so it's stuff that I like that are specific to me that I'm wanting to hear, like get things done or whatever it is. And I have all my clients, most of them listening to something as they go to sleep as well, just as a passive, go to sleep. I just say, put it on, go to sleep. It's there, but you still have to, you can't just have other things do it. And I can't do it for him. Nobody can do it for anybody. You have to stop and take the time. Are you aware of Dr. Joe Dispenza?
Yes. Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
Right. Well, he meditates for 2 hours every morning. And you know that he had that spinal crack and he healed himself through just, he couldn't go anywhere. So he just laid there.
Yeah.
Putting all that attention on his spine, and he was able to walk without the surgery and stuff, but it took him a while. But it's the same thing. Like, you can't just sit there and you're good and then like, okay, I just do it a minute, just do it for a minute. No, good. If that makes you feel better to think that you're doing something for a minute. But the truth is, you gotta, depending on how much you have going now, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about monks who've been doing it for 40 years, meditating for 40 years. They can get right into that place, right? But it's a practice, right? And so you have to, there's no shortcut to this. You have to close your eyes and you have to sit. And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to go do that. I want to go do this. But I teach people to waste time with yourself. Just sit and spend time and just imagine. I have people imagine 3 things in the morning. So I tell them, create your day. I always ask them when I talk to them, did you create your day today? And they know what that means is the first thing I have them do is create the world. So I have them imagine the world a better place. Because I said, it's great you're imagining for yourself and your dreams and your family. But if our world is falling apart, good luck with that. So we need people imagining our world a better place, imagining our oceans clean and our ozone whole, and people free in North Korea and people free in Russia, and everybody's, Syria's free and democratic and everybody's living this awesome life. So I have them imagine that first. There's 3 prongs to my create your life, your morning or your day. And that's the first one. The second rung is imagine your day going great. So if you already know you have appointments, see it going great and everything's just so happy. So I'll imagine my clients and my students just doing great. And we had a great day in the session. And then the third thing, you sit and you imagine your dream world, whatever it is you want. If you want to be a billionaire, if you want to be the greatest speaker that ever walked the earth, you want to be a Grammy award-winning singer, close your eyes and go there. If you want a dream house, go there. Really go deep, dive deep until you feel something and it is hard. What I'm telling you to do is super, super hard because our minds want to go here. And then there's these 2 voices. You got this one voice from your childhood and everybody that says, you're nuts. Get up and go. Get your head out of the clouds. Get to work. Work hard. And then this other voice, I teach them to make that louder, saying, no, I'm going to sit here and do this for a while, so you need to be quiet. And when you do that, you start to get better. But it's not easy. It takes years, like monks, do. Yeah. So that's what I do with affirmations and tools of all kinds.
Beautiful, 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 Kat. I love this. And Paul said, working, and boy, did I need to hear this. I have a success and love playlist that plays under my pillow and have for 5 years. But holy hell, yes, got to get it inside, burning hot, build that vision. And he said, put her name in the chat. So I'll be doing that and making sure people know who you are and get access to you because you're a superstar. And I love it. Love what you're creating in the world. So that's great. The 3 things, creating that, being the creator. How did you shift from being someone who kind of just let life happen to you to being the creator, the source of your reality?
Well, there was several stages, like I was telling you. I forgot to mention the Landmark was a huge moment in my life. I went to Landmark seminars, and that was really helpful. I only did the forum and the master course, which I did the master course twice, which was a big help. But again, and this is what I tell all my clients, is that this information's everywhere, right? There's a million books. There's all these teachers. You could go to a Tony Robbins seminar, but then you come home and after a month, it's like you slip back into your default buttons.
Yeah.
So where I started to get this awakening and staying on it and getting stronger was when I had someone to talk to once a week that I knew I was going to talk to them at a specific time, and it was going to be about me. It wasn't a friend who we were going to talk about them too. It was going to be all about me. And that's where this whole life coaching thing, I'm like, I tell people, get a life coach, because if you can get a good one, that's somebody who is really going to stay focused on you and where you're coming from and help you grow from there. So I had that. I had somebody where I could talk about my stuff and I could keep inching every week more and more. So I stayed on it, which is really what I do with my clients, is that it's not so much the information, even though I'm always feeding them a lot of information, but at the same time, I just make them keep on it. And if they, let's say I asked them to read a book, or part of a book, or I asked them to do that thing that they want. Now, mind you, it's always for what they want and they ask for. And if, let's say, they didn't get it done, or they only got half done, I'd say, okay, cool. There's never condemnation. So what was it that stopped you? And let's deal with that. So in real time, we deal with those stuckies, and not everybody's got the same ones, there's similar ones. I find probably the most similar thing is scheduling. Like if my beasts, my superstars, are the ones who can handle boring, just everyday scheduling, because everybody wakes up and it's like they have the best intentions, and I'm going to do this between this time and that, and like I said, they come home from these seminars, but then they just literally go right back to what they were always doing. So I deal with that changing of your basic default buttons is very hard to change. But if somebody's like hangs in, I always say, lean into me, let's just do this, we can do this, then those are my beasts, and I just love watching them grow. Yes.
I love it. I love it. So you're doing the life coaching, which is super awesome. You got tons of skills, tons of resources, tons of experience, and you're also teaching people to be better performers and use their voice. How does that work? How have you been creating that? Share about that with us.
I started singing 6 nights a week at the age of 13 years old.
Wow.
I had a very unusual childhood. I think we probably did 3 or 4 nights at 13. And then by the time I was 16, I was 6 nights a week. So I had a very unusual childhood, left high school in 10th grade and got my GED because I was singing from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. every night. So wow. I did a lot of things like that, and I made a lot of mistakes. My parents didn't know, right? They didn't know. So there were a lot of things I did good and a lot of things I didn't do. So I remember as I got older and after I was on Star Search a couple times, I'd lost by a quarter point the last time I was on. And I remember thinking to myself, and you touched on this earlier, is if I can't find it, I'm going to be it. So I realized that I had nobody to teach me how to navigate this music world and what I need to really be successful and to be a force and to be taken serious. Because I did really well, but then when I got in front of an A&R person from Sony Records, I remember him asking me, well, do you write any songs? Do you play an instrument? I'm like, no, but I'm this cover singer, and they're like, sound great, but we need somebody who writes. So I was kind of bummed out that I didn't know to do that when I was younger. I was always singing in cover bands as a lead singer. So I learned how to perform really great, and I loved singing around St. Louis. But I really hungered for being this artist. So now I work with these young people that come in, they want to do cover songs. I'm like, yeah, she already did it. So now you're going to do you. Let's get you. So I have them all. My students, most of them write between 50 and 100 songs. By the time they're done when I let them go at 18, when they're moving on, or if I get them older after about 3 years, I have them proficient musicians, proficient performers, awesome songwriters, and just overall better people, because I'm throwing in my life coaching as I'm going, just to keep their head in it, because it's a difficult career. You're working at night and weekends and you're traveling. And so you have to pick spouses in a different way than you would pick in a different world. So I just take them on. They're my babies, and I just give them everything that I didn't know to do. And it's so cool watching them. So yeah, I get them on stage. Where the music studios is where I teach in St. Charles, and they built a stage so that I could teach my students on stage with sound systems, and they can get the feeling of really getting out there and putting their phone down and looking in the eye and doing it. So
I love it. Performance time, performance mode, putting themselves in that, the energy. There's an energy of being on stage and being a performer, having people, watching, having a crowd, an audience, and performing for them. Also, there's something about, speaking in public, which I think performers, musicians, there's a reflection of energy from the audience. There's the amplification of the energy from the audience. So, what have you found really works to move people through their stage fright and their, fears of being bigger than life, being in public, being judged? What have you found really works to move people through that?
Well, a lot of things, but one is being honest and true and not putting on for people. I notice a lot of people, come up with this idea that they're putting on. And if you're honest, if you're honestly can look at somebody in the eyes and sing your truth and connect with them, and then they feel it, you both could be crying on a song because you're being honest, you're singing. So if you get into your truth, I guess with speaking would be the same. If you've got a message and you're really speaking from your soul, and you're not like, I'm here to tell you, and I'm putting my energy on you, versus we're all doing this together.
Yeah, together.
And this was my truth, and I want you to get it too, and I want you to feel this too, and we're all in this together. I don't like that idea that somehow I'm the, whatever, and I'm teaching or I'm presenting, or I like the idea that we're all in this, and yeah, I'm older than you, so I'm going to know more than you about certain things, just like you know more than a 10-year-old knows. But I don't get head tripped about that. It's like we're in this together, and we're discovering and evolving together, you see? Yeah. So I think when you're singing and you're speaking, to answer your question, if you're coming off truth, like if you watch Tony Robbins just recently, I started to watch just a little bit of his I'm Not Your Guru, and I'm like, he's so right on, because he like looks at something and and that's how I am. I kind of I don't really want to put on so much as just engulf it.
Be with it, yeah. Embrace it, understand it, receive it, be with it. Yeah.
And we just feed off each other, but I'm telling them anything they want, I'm feeding you. I'll feed you anything you need. Just but I'm coming from that place. I'm not coming from I'm a speaker or I'm a teacher. I'm coming from okay, come on, I want you to be this too. I want you to be this too. I want you to know this. And I say to everybody, come on, out-evolved me. Come on, do it,
Yes, I love it. I love it. So awesome. We do have more comments. We had Paul who said, Kat, I'm in St. Louis. Let's connect. Duh.
Wow. Awesome. Let's do it.
Awesome. We have Petia who said, I love St. Charles. My client is from there. So got some Missouri fans. St. Charles is Missouri, right?
Yes, correct. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and St. Charles, Missouri is this other area. Newtown. It's Newtown, St. Charles, and it's this little bitty town. It's so cute.
Oh, I love it.
It's got this cool, lake and everything. Yeah.
So, speaking of location, I'm curious, how has living in Missouri affected your perspective on the world? And with places like Los Angeles or New York or Nashville as more of hubs for music. Maybe St. Louis is a hub for music too. I'm not culturally educated on Missouri very much. How has being there and your roots being there, how has that affected you? And you also have this big online group which allows you to reach the rest of the world. How has that dynamic played out for you?
So it's interesting. So St. Louis is smaller in the sense of like LA. My son lives in Hollywood and he's doing acting. And so I love to go to LA. I love it. I love Runyon Canyon and I just love to be around all that energy. And I love St. Louis too. And it just, it was a slower start for the law of attraction. Like I said, it's, I noticed there's 145 people in our group, in my group, from St. Louis, and I'm like, where are they? So it's not like the most, like, you know, when I say to people about the law of attraction, they're like, oh, and I'm like, did you read the book? So it's a little slower with the law of attraction in the world, but I think that they're out there. Like, I just haven't connected totally with them yet, and I'd like to have a group together where we could meet. It would be really cool.
Local is so important. Local events, meetups, seminars, workshops. So it's like just so much more fulfilling than just online, or even, you know, this is great technology, thank God for it. And like, if we could do all these interviews in person and in a studio, just the magic would be 10x, you know?
But I have none of that here. So I am so hungry for like live, you know, for us communicating. In fact, not even like the big stars like Tony Robbins or Jack Canfield. They never come to St. Louis. Right. Sometimes they'll be at Kansas. Every once in a while I hear somebody in Kansas, whatever. So I do feel like it's, I pray and I'm visualizing for St. Louis to kind of open up and become more of all that. As far as the music's concerned, you're correct. I mean, I always try to get all my artists to this place where no one can say no to them. So I have them put together their songs and become really great musicians, not strumming, but like real musicians. And then I start, and then we work on their social media, and then I'm like, all right, go. I'm trying to kick them out of the nest. It's super hard because, you know, sometimes they just don't want to leave, you know, and they don't want to go. But I'm like, you need to go if you really want to get out there, Nashville or, you know, all that, and come back and remember us. You know, we have like Nelly and we have a couple people, but St. Louis is just, you don't have like the record company hubs here. You don't have Sony here or whatever, but I'm visualizing it. I'm imagining that St. Louis is going to break free and be this amazing music and law of attraction hub.
What keeps you in St. Louis?
Well, my students, now they've kind of become my children, and my mom and my sister are here. That's the only family I've got now, and they're here, and my mother's 85, and so I'm a little torn. I want to be in California with my son because, of course, he's, you know, this amazing actor. But it's not like him and I are going to hang out. Like, he's 24. It's not like he's going to be like, "Hey, Mom, you know, come over." But maybe I might get to like make Sunday dinner or something. But I just love it. We went to see the Harry Potter thing, and we went to Malibu. I was just there a few weeks ago, and it was so fun. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. So it's all working. I send things out to the universe. What I do is I meditate and I pray and I ask myself, if you remember, Tony Robbins always says, ask yourself any questions. Anything you ask yourself, your mind will go and try to answer. Yeah. So I'm asking God, the universe, within myself, I say, where do I belong? What should I do? What am I good for in the world? And where's my joy? Rhonda Burns always says, where's my joy? So I like that. So I just let it shift me. And then I look for the nudges like Jack Canfield did, you know, and does. You put it out there. I know what I want. I want to really just travel the world, meeting all of you and speaking, singing, teaching around the world. That's what I want to do. So I put that out there. The world knows, you know, the universe knows that's what I want. And it's just moving me. And I'm just going to notice the nudges and act on them.
Yes. Planting seeds, continuing to plant seeds, nurture them, allow them to grow, and, you know, riding that growth, riding the growth of the plant, you know, like jumping on to the seeds that you've planted, allowing them to sprout and riding that to your desires, riding the stream.
The patience is the hardest part. That's when you talk to people, yes. People always say to me, you know, I'll see it in the group. They'll be like, I've been doing this for 5 years and nothing ever. And I'm like, I'll bet if I was a fly on the wall, I could see that they're during that boring period or that nothing period, they're wobbling out. Like Jack Canfield talked about when he wanted that $100,000, right? And he would visualize $100,000 every day. He just stuck on it. He believed in his mentor. He believed in him so much that when he said, just stay on this and visualize. So he did it every morning. He made that huge check on the wall or that $100,000 bill, and he imagined it. And he didn't get his first nudge for 6 weeks. He was taking a shower after 6 weeks. So most people I know can't handle those 6 weeks. And that's where I come in actually as a life coach, because I know that's why we talk I'm like, so did you create your day? Did you visualize that thing you wanted deeply? Did you feel it? And then, well, I did it a few days. Well, good luck with that. You need to do that every day. So we need to be back on it. And a lot of people like to act like it's just it's so easy. It's just supposed to be, great. That's great if that works for you. But most people, it just does not. It's work. And during that boring time, that's when that growth time, when it, like, I like the bamboo. It's a symbol, one of my favorite symbols. And the turtle's one of my favorite symbols too. But the bamboo, because for 5 years you see nothing, right? And then 5th year, it shoots up. So you have to be patient and you have to just believe. But if you're believing, not believing, then you're going to be that way your whole 50 First Dates till you die. End of story, right? You saw the movie 50 First Dates?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
It's like, here we go again.
Every day we got to restart.
Right. Yeah, we do. And that's just the way it is. I mean, if you're an expert, like if you've been doing it for years, you're a monk, you could close your eyes, boom, you're in that place. If you're Dr. Joe Dispenza, you can get into this place, but he still spends 2 hours doing it. Greg Braden, Jack Canfield, they are meditators. Rhonda Burns, they stay with it. And I'm sure after years of doing it, they're better. I'm quicker at getting to where I want to go. But sometimes I have to wrestle because I'm like, I want to go. I don't want to do an hour today. I want to go do this other thing,
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Patience. Critical.
So hard.
So I love this. And, we're beginning to wrap up now, Kat. And what is the final call to action, the new paradigm, the new reality that we are inviting our audience to step into right now? Question
everything, everyone, and be curious about everything. And I prescribe to reading everything and everyone, all the different teachers. Some people are like, no, just stick with this one. And that's cool. And I'm not even putting that down. But what I'm saying is if you want this new paradigm that you're talking about, if you guys really want to evolve and really take over this world in a better way, then you need to understand the different teachings and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, I don't ascribe to everything that Abraham Hicks says, but I love a lot of what Abraham Hicks says. There's not one teacher that I'm like 100% like, yeah. I really don't. Maybe Dr. Joseph Murphy, but most of them have one little thing that I go, but I don't even care. I'm like, go on. Just get the information and transform with this wisdom. Do not lock on like a cult to any one thing, because that's what my generation did. The generations before me, we find something, we're like, oh, take something, and say, okay, how do I feel about it? Well, let me read another one and get all these different perspectives, these prisms, and then before you know it, you're like walking with this understanding that's bigger than any one thing. Does that make sense? Because I want to empower you all, because I don't want you guys to have to go through what I went through without any of this enlightenment. Because life would have been so much easier and better for me had I known this at your age. So I want you guys to do this, and so that the world will be a better place for you guys. That's what I want. Does that answer your question?
It did. It does. Absolutely 100%. So, Kat, how do people stay connected with you? What do you want them to do next?
They can reach me on Facebook, and also my website is catsansonelifecoach.weebly.com.
Okay.
And also my group on Facebook is Law of Attraction Power with Kat Sansone. And so you can do that, and you can just say hi to me, and we'll chat. I put stuff out. And so what do I want what do you mean by from this perspective of what I want?
What do you want them to do next? Do you have you mentioned how they can stay connected with you, but is there like something you want them to do? Schedule a time to talk to you? Is there, lead magnet, gift, anything like that you want to share with them?
I'm just now writing a book and putting together a course, so I have nothing to give you guys except me, and you can see me on Facebook. And like, if you want to work one-on-one with me on my life coaching, you just go to that website, and then you just send me an email through there. My email is lionsrock@svcglobal.net.
Cool.
And then we can just get you set up. And what I do is we just meet once a week, and we just keep you moving. We keep messing with all that and get you there until it gets better and easier and faster. And it takes a while, but we get you there. So
I love it.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
Kat, you are a brilliant light in the world. Thank you so much for shining, for showing up. Thank you. We do this together. We really do this together, and it's through people like you who have, 120,000 person Facebook group that I'm like, ooh, I want to be a part of that. I want to co-create. I want that too. Like, let's do this together. How do we impact more people? So it is beautiful what you've accomplished and what you will be accomplishing moving forward. Thank you. You are amazing.
I'm here for you, definitely. Thank you. Have a blessed night. Bye, everybody. See you. Bye-bye.
See you, Kat.
See you. Bye.